All right, ladies and gents, let's wrap up this chapter. Okay, let's wrap up this chapter with this kind of big picture diagram. And this is going to kind of bring everything together. Pretty much we're closing out photosynthesis and cell respiration. Okay, so where we go? Here we go. This is the stuff I want you to learn in this class. This is a tree, and the tree has leaves. And the leaves have a bunch of cells that can go through photosynthesis. These cells have chloroplasts. Now, chloroplasts or leaves are going to go through something called photosynthesis, right? What does a tree need in order to be able to do photosynthesis? Well, it needs energy from the sun, right? What else does it need? Well, it needs carbon dioxide and it needs water. Remember, water is the electron donor. Carbon dioxide is going to be used to make glucose. And energy, well, where do we get the energy from? From the sun, right? Photosynthesis is going to give us products. What are the products of photosynthesis? Glucose and oxygen. So far, so good? Great. Now, why do we use this glucose and oxygen? Well, we need this, not just plants, but also plants, animals, other organisms are going to need the products of photosynthesis, glucose and oxygen, to go through what? To go through cellular respiration. So as you can see here, the result or the products of photosynthesis, which is glucose and oxygen, is used to go through another process called cellular respiration. And trees go through cell respiration, plants go through cell respiration. So some of this glucose produced by the tree is going to be used by the tree itself. And some of the oxygen produced by the tree is going to be used by the tree itself in order to go through cell respiration. But animals and all kind of animals, pretty much, or organisms, are going to need the glucose and oxygen to go through cell respiration. So they can make pretty much get the energy from glucose, which is a chemical now, and the energy is now in this chemical, to be able to make something called ATP. And ATP is really what's going to be driving cellular work. Okay, so remember, we don't use glucose directly. We have to convert this energy into ATP. And yes, some energy comes out as heat, right? Okay, and now let's, for example, you, right, animals here, and you, for example, you go through cell respiration. Great. You need glucose, you need oxygen. What are the products of cell respiration? Well, ATP to drive cellular work, but what else do you make out of cell respiration? A little bit of water and, carbon dioxide. Now, this is your waste. This is going to be our waste. This is going to be what we produce as a waste. But guess what? Again, this is a cycle. This carbon dioxide is then going to be able to be used by the tree, okay, to make photosynthesis. So that is what I want to show you here. It's all a cycle. We all cycling things. We cannot live without another, right? Remember, we call these plants, we call them primary producers, because they're going to produce this molecule, this energy molecule that we cannot produce because we're not getting energy from the sun and making it into glucose, or plants can. So we're using this energy to make ATP. So we are very dependent on the products of photosynthesis. So we are very dependent on plants. But plants are also dependent on us because we make a lot of the carbon dioxide, right? And this carbon dioxide is really used, okay, for the plant to be able to go through photosynthesis, which then gives us glucose, which then we can get glucose and oxygen, okay, that we breathe in, so we can go through cell respiration, get ATP, then we produce waste, which is a little bit of water, and carbon dioxide, and then carbon dioxide is used by the plants, and so on and so forth, and so goes the cycle. And that is the big point of these two chapters. That's how two chapters come together. That's why it's so important to understand what are producers, what are consumers, and how this cycle evolves. And that's it for this chapter.